A rider and a weapon, a team with a secret. The sky was calm, but Rek's heart was not. Every breath he took felt heavier. Every sound in the forest made him turn. He and Bolt had escaped the cave, but not the danger. Someone out there was hunting. Them. And the worst part? They didn't know how close that someone was. For 2 days, Rek and Bolt moved deeper into the old growth zone. This part of the forest was silent, untouched by colony machines. Even maps called it the Red Line. Enter at your own risk. Rek didn't care. Safety didn't exist anymore. Not for him, not for Bolt. "We'll rest here," Rek said as they reached a quiet hill covered in moss. Bolt lowered his head and lay down. Rek sat beside him and pulled out a holo map. "We're here," he said, pointing to the glowing dot. "If we go east for another 5 kilometers, we'll reach the abandoned Terra ruins." Ruins from before the colony, before humans. The perfect place to hide, but something about that place made Rek nervous. He felt it in his stomach. Still, they had no choice. By midday, they reached it. The ruins were strange. Twisted towers half buried in the earth, old metal sticking out like bones. The air smelled of rust and old storms. Vines crept up walls that once held machines. Bolt walked slowly, his ears turning left and right. "This place gives me chills," Rek whispered. Suddenly, the ground cracked. Before he could shout, he fell. It was like dropping into darkness. The earth gave way beneath him, and Rek tumbled down into a wide underground chamber. He hit the floor hard and gasped. Pain shot through his shoulder. He tried to sit but winced. "Bolt!" he cried out. His voice echoed against the stone walls. High above, Bolt's face appeared through the broken earth. The stallion whined, a deep, worried sound. "I'm okay," Rek called up. "Just stuck." He looked around. The chamber was massive, built of old alien stone. Strange carvings covered the walls. In the center stood a broken console, covered in dust and moss. "What is this place?" Rek muttered. Then something lit up, a soft green glow. The broken console had sensed him. Meanwhile, Bolt didn't just wait. The stallion paced back and forth, snorting and stomping. Then he did something Rek had never seen him do. He searched. Bolt sniffed the ground, backed up, and began striking a wall with his hooves. Not randomly, with purpose. He was thinking. Below, Rek slowly touched the glowing panel. A voice spoke. Not human, not clear, but soft. Then, a hologram appeared. It showed the stallion Bolt, but inside a lab, connected to wires, monitored by aliens, not humans. Rek's eyes widened. "You were theirs. Before the humans took you?" Another image. Bolt, running through an alien battlefield, destroying machines. Then, captured. Frozen in stasis. Rek whispered, "You were made to fight wars and you just wanted peace." Suddenly, crash. A hole opened above. Bolt leapt down into the chamber, dirt flying around him. He landed beside Rek and sniffed him all over, checking for injuries. "I'm fine," Rek said. "Mostly." Bolt looked at the glowing console and snorted. It responded. The carvings on the wall lit up. One word glowed in alien script. Rek didn't understand the language, but somehow he felt the meaning. Chosen. That night they rested inside the ruin. Rek sat with his arm bandaged. Bolt curled beside him like a silent guardian. "They built you for destruction," Rek whispered. "But you chose something better." He smiled weakly. "You chose me." Far above, in the dark forest, red lights moved between the trees. The hunters had arrived. But they didn't know what waited for them deep below. They thought they were chasing a beast. They didn't realize they had awakened a legend. The forest burned. It didn't start with lightning. It started with them. 3 black dropships tore through the sky and landed outside the ancient ruins. Dust exploded, trees cracked, Birds vanished, and out stepped soldiers, armor dark as ash, visors glowing red. They were not from the colony. They were not there to ask questions. They were there to capture the asset. Rek felt the ground shake as the first explosion hit nearby. He jumped to his feet. "They found us." Bolt stood too, his eyes already glowing brighter, his body tense. "They're not here to talk," Rek said. "We need to run." They sprinted out of the ruins just as the chamber behind them collapsed. Flames began to crawl through the dry underbrush. Smoke filled the air. The hunters had set fire to the forest to flush them out. Bolt charged forward fast as thunder. Rek clung tightly to his back, coughing as smoke stung his eyes. Everywhere he looked, trees were falling, flames snapping at their heels. A plasma shot burst past his head, too close. "They're trying to kill us," he shouted. Bolt snorted and veered hard left, jumping over a burning log. Another shot came. This one hit the ground right behind them. Boom! Rek almost fell off. But Bolt didn't stop. The Stallion was no longer running away. He was leading the way through death and fire with eyes full of fury. Behind them, one of the hunters spoke into his mic. "We have visual. Target is moving northeast. It's carrying the civilian." Another voice replied, cold and sharp. "Eliminate the boy. Bring the asset back, alive or not." Bolt crashed through a wall of flames. On the other side was a narrow cliff path, high, above a glowing canyon. Rek gulped. "Are you sure?" Bolt didn't answer. He ran. Winds howled. Rocks tumbled, one wrong step and they'd both fall. But Bolt's hooves moved with precision. He wasn't just riding through the storm. He was the storm. From the skies, drones followed. One flew low. Bolt saw it. Rek felt his muscles tighten and then Bolt launched into the air. Crash! The drone exploded midair as Bolt's hooves smashed through it. Sparks rained down. Rek laughed through his fear. "You're insane!" Bolt just growled like a war drum. They reached the end of the cliff and dropped into a ravine. But the fire wasn't stopping. Rek could barely breathe. They paused near a shallow creek. Rek slid off Bolt's back, gasping. I can't keep going like this." Bolt leaned down and nudged him gently, not like a beast, like a brother. Rek smiled faintly. "All right, just 1 minute." Then, a scream. Rek looked up. A soldier had spotted them from above. A grenade was thrown. It bounced once, twice. Bolt kicked it. Boom! The blast shook the trees. Rek flew backward, ears ringing, vision blurry. When he looked up, Bolt stood over him, his left leg bleeding. "No," Rek whispered. "You're hurt." Bolt didn't flinch. He simply lowered himself again, telling Rek, "We're not done yet." Rek climbed back up. His voice cracked. "I'm not leaving you. I don't care what they say. You're not a weapon. You're my friend." They ran again, this time through burning grass and broken fences. The last colony outpost was ahead, abandoned, but filled with machines and wreckage. Bolt crashed through it like a legend out of a dream. The fire followed, chasing them like a monster made of heat and hate. And just when they thought it was over, a massive mech dropped in front of them, black, armed, blocking the path. The pilot grinned. "End of the line." Rek closed his eyes. "Bolt, don't do it." But Bolt growled and charged. Boom! Metal screamed. The mech staggered backward. Sparks burst from its legs. Bolt slammed into it like a black comet, hooves glowing, eyes burning. With fury, the pilot inside shouted, struggling to stabilize the machine, but Bolt wasn't finished. He twisted midair, struck again. Crash! The mech fell. Rek slid off Bolt's back, breathing hard. You took down a combat mech." Bolt didn't answer. He just stood still, his legs shaking, his side bleeding. But in his eyes, Rek saw something. Something more than instinct. More than survival. He saw memory. The outpost was quiet. Now. The fire had passed. Enemies were gone. For now. Rek guided Bolt inside an old medical room. The place smelled of dust and rusted tools. He found a small auto-patcher and activated it. The machine hummed, scanning Bolt's leg. As it worked, Rex sat against the wall and stared at the creature before him. "Bolt," he whispered, "what are you?" Bolt looked at him, then did something strange. He walked to the corner of the room, where a cracked screen lay half buried under debris, and nudged it. The screen flickered. Lines of alien code danced across the surface. Then, an old video played. A lab. White, cold, sterile. Aliens, tall, thin, silver-skinned, walked around a young version of Bolt. Smaller, quieter, but still powerful. He wasn't chained. He wasn't forced. He was learning. The aliens touched his forehead, gently, whispered strange words. Then the screen showed a young human boy, maybe 10 years old, standing beside Bolt in the lab. Rex's heart stopped. Wait, it was him. The video zoomed in. Bolt stood beside Rex, and the aliens smiled. "Chosen bond complete," a voice said. "Memory link secured, future reconnection expected." Rex backed away from the screen. His hands shook. "No, that can't be. I don't remember that. I've never been here before." Bolt stepped closer. And then, it all hit him. Visions. Flashes. Of a place he couldn't remember. Riding Bolt in a white room. Laughing. Touching Bolt's neck. And then, being taken away. Crying. And forgetting. Rex dropped to his knees. "They wiped my memory." Bolt bent down and touched his head softly. A low sound came from his chest, not a growl. A hum, like a lullaby. Rex whispered, "You remembered me. All this time. You remembered." Suddenly, more lights came on across the base. Another drone had spotted them. A red dot blinked near the door. A voice crackled through a speaker. "Stand down. The Stallion belongs to us. The boy is irrelevant." Rex stood, his fists clenched. "No," he shouted. "He doesn't belong to anyone." Bolt stood beside him, tall and still. Then more lights activated across his body, thin glowing lines, forming strange symbols. Rex gasped. "What is that?" Another voice answered, deep and calm, from Bolt himself. "Protocol unlocked. Guardian mode." Rex stepped back in shock. "You can talk?" Not with words, not with sound, but directly into his mind. "Only with you," the voice said. "I was created to fight, but built for something more. To protect you." Everything changed in that moment. Bolt wasn't just a beast or even a lab-made creature. He was a guardian, designed for a single purpose, to find and protect the one he bonded with. Rex. Rex felt tears in his eyes. "They turned you into a weapon," he said. "But you became my friend." Bolt's voice echoed. "Again, I chose you long ago. Even when you forgot, I remembered." Outside, soldiers prepared their final assault. Inside, a boy and his stallion stood together, closer than ever, and above them the moon rose, watching silently as legends reawakened. The night was heavy. Here, stars above blinked like old eyes watching the final chapter unfold. In the ruined outpost, under the broken lights, a boy and a beast stood side by side. Rex, no longer just a curious teen. Bolt, no longer just a weapon. They were something new. Now one soul and two bodies. Outside the walls, engines roared. Shadows moved. Soldiers surrounded the place, forming a perfect trap. A voice echoed through the air, sharp and cold. "Final warning. Surrender the Stallion." Rex looked up at Bolt. "Do we run again?" he whispered. Bolt's glowing eyes met his. "No." The voice echoed in Rex's mind. "This time, we ride." The doors exploded open. Flashes of light, shouts. The ground shook. But Rex didn't hide. He climbed onto Bolt's back with steady hands. No fear, only trust. Bolt reared, high, and slammed his hooves down. The ground cracked. Then they moved. They burst through the smoke like a thunderbolt, faster than any drone, stronger than any tank. Soldiers fired, but missed. Bolt weaved between beams and blasts like a shadow on fire. Rek ducked low, holding on, his hair whipping in the wind. They weren't running anymore. They were breaking free. Gunship descended, its cannons charged. Bolt didn't stop. He ran straight toward it, leapt off a burning ledge. Slam! Hooves shattered glass and metal. The ship crashed to the ground. Rek rolled off as Bolt landed beside him. The air was chaos. Explosions, screaming, fire. But to Rek, it all went quiet, because Bolt was glowing again, fully. Wings of light unfolded. From his sides, not real wings, but pure energy. Symbols lit across his body like stars on a map. "Are you evolving?" Rek asked. Bolt answered, "Awakening." Rek climbed back on. Above them, a ridge led to freedom. But between them and that ridge, the commander, clad in black armor, taller than a man, with a plasma spear in one hand. He stepped forward. "Impressive," he said. "But the beast is not yours. It's a creation, a mistake. Give it back." Rek's voice was steady. "He chose me." The commander raised his weapon. "Then you'll die together." Bolt lowered his head, breathing deep. Rek leaned forward. They didn't need a plan. They only needed each other. Then they charged. The commander attacked, fast and brutal. Bolt dodged left, then right. Rek shouted, "Now!" Bolt spun and kicked. Crack! The commander flew back, armor broken. He didn't rise. Silence. Then the soldiers slowly lowered their guns. Some dropped them entirely. They had seen something greater than orders. They had seen a legend reborn. Later that night, far from the battlefield, Rek and Bolt stood on a cliff overlooking the glowing forest. Ash floated in the wind like snow. Rek touched Bolt's neck. "What now?" Bolt's voice came softly. "Now, we disappear. Together." They didn't need roads, they didn't need applause, just the open world and the stars. And as dawn broke over the wild land, a shadow moved across the hills. A boy, a stallion, not captured, not controlled, but wild, free, and forever together.